G'day, and welcome to the last episode of this series of Adrian's Reptile World. It's been great to have your company for the last 12 weeks. During that time we've met some fascinating reptiles from all over Australia and road tested many that can make great pets. While Australians are only just beginning to realise what a great resource we have, Americans and Europeans long ago discovered our secret. That's why some of the most commonly kept pet reptiles overseas are in fact Australian. America has only 1/3 the number of native reptiles that Australia has, yet in some states 1 out of every 20 homes contains a pet reptile. Currently in Australia, reptile ownership is somewhere in the order of 1 in every 400 homes. That's where America was 20 years ago, but we are catching up fast. Reptiles offer many advantages over the more conventional pet budgie, rabbit or even dog or cat. They have no feathers or fur, so they won't give you allergies. They don't suffer from separation anxiety if you decide to go away for the weekend. They don't need to be walked. They won't make any noise. And most will be happy to be fed 3 times a week, or in the case of snakes, as little as once a week. They are in fact a low-maintenance pet that is ideally suited to a busy lifestyle. Most pet reptiles also don't require a large amount of space. They will thrive in enclosures that are big enough to give them a sense of territory, and most 3 to 4 foot cages will provide this. This makes them a perfect pet for people living in units or townhouses and can't provide the necessary space required for a cat or dog, or have restrictions on squawking birds. Many people believe the misconception that reptiles are difficult to care for. This is not true. They simply require a basic understanding that they are different from warm-blooded pets. A multi-billion-dollar industry has developed around dispensing the necessary know-how and products to make this an easy transition. There's now a plethora of information in books and on the internet about virtually every species of reptile you may wish to keep. It's also taking pressure off innumerable wild reptiles because people have mastered the art of breeding them in captivity. Why would anyone bother taking reptiles from the wild with all their associated problems when they can acquire a captive-bred, problem-free animal from a breeder? One of the most frequently asked questions is, where can I get a pet reptile? Well, at this stage, only some states in Australia allow the sale of reptiles in pet shops, so the rest of us will have to wait a little bit longer for that. However, there are still many places where you can find reptiles for sale. Reptile clubs, internet forums, and classified websites are all great places to start. In other parts of the world, reptile expos have become very popular. In America, there are hundreds of large expos held every year, generating employment and millions of dollars. Australian reptile expos are still a new concept, but have potential for a lot of growth. The largest of all is the Sydney Frog and Reptile Show, held at Castle Hill each year, where the turnout exceeds 10,000 people over a weekend. Expos are an excellent place to see what's available, get expert advice, and then decide on and even buy the reptile that best suits you. It might surprise you to know that in New South Wales, for example, more than 320 species of reptile and amphibian are permitted to be kept, so we are not short on choice. There are also hundreds of products on sale, all designed to make your reptile keeping experience easier and more rewarding. I visited the 2009 show and spoke to some of the leading people in the industry. We have the organiser of the show here, Anthony Stimpson, and we might just ask him a few words about this event and how happy he is with its success today.
Oh, extremely happy. Yeah, it's been great. Thousands of smiles and interested people, which is what we wanted to see.
Okay. And what sort of a turnout have you had over the 2 days?
Oh, it's been in the many thousands of people. It's very exciting, yeah. Packed with people and everyone was really happy. It's great.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of this event?
Well, my original idea was to try and catch people and teach people and get people to learn more about nature generally back in 2003, actually 2002, we worked out many years ago back then that the way to reach people was in fast, flashy shows that they usually call expos, and seeing the American model, of course, seeing it working, thought it's time to try it out. The real interest wasn't in all the furry and koala, furry animals like koalas and wombats and things we had there. It was in the scaly animals and the frogs as well, So So we knew that the American model again was the winner, and that was the reptile expos, of course. So we kicked it off in 2007 as the Australian Frog and Reptile Expo.
I think the expo is a continuation of the growth that's been happening in the hobby in the last 10 years, and I'm very encouraged by how it went. A lot of people were buying animals, but a lot of people were the young family market that are just thinking about getting into the hobby. And I saw a lot of converts to the hobby. It's such a logical thing for people to turn to, and so I was very, very happy with it, happy with the response. And I'm looking forward to the continued growth, because if compared to last year's expo and the year before that, we really are on a steep growth curve.
The first show was no word of mouth. It was all up to us to try and tell the industry about it, and it was such hard work. So the very few that came to the first expo passed the message on to the rest of the industry.
We have some weird cultural phenomena in our past in Australia that have retarded the hobby's growth, but you know, those things are dissolving now, and the whole business of first of all, it was any good snake is a dead snake, or however that goes. Then it was any good snake is a protected snake, and people shouldn't keep them in captivity. It's come all the way around now, so we're very quickly in Australia starting to look at the alternative of native animals for pets. I suspect we'll never get quite where the Americans are with regards to 1 in 30 or 1 in 40 households holding a reptile, but at 1 in 400 households in New South Wales now, we got a long way to go, and it's encouraging. I think 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be giving the Americans a bit of a run.
The whole concept also with the expo is to promote good care of reptiles and frogs. Good care, and the best way to show good care is to show perfect and beautiful specimens, and the proud owners of them, and by giving them the opportunity to show their animals off and show how well kept they are is a really great way to promote really good care of the animals, and also to show the enthusiasm and hopefully pass that enthusiasm on to other people as well.
I don't remember a time when I haven't been interested in reptiles and amphibians. I mean, all my life since I was a very young child, I've just had an absolute fascination with reptiles and frogs. This has led on to obviously a career in reptiles. I'm currently the senior reptile keeper at Melbourne Zoo, and all along the way, like many herpetologists, I've had a great interest in literature, anything associated with herpetology and the keeping of reptiles. So I have a large library of books myself, like many people, and this developed into a business over the years, and I tend to visit as many of the reptile expos as I can around Australia, or anywhere reptile books are bought and sold.
Reptiles Australia was a brainwave I had probably about 5.5 years ago, and what we looked to do was provide something to the Australian community that didn't exist, and it was an opportunity to bring reptile and reptile keeping right into the forefront of the public. And so we produced our first issue 5.5 years ago, and we've produced 30 more since then.